Welcome to the 2023 Economic Depression and Preparation channel. Thank you for joining me. Please be sure to subscribe to this for the latest interpretation of financial news. As it happens, happy 4th of July weekend. This is a short, abbreviated video as everyone is on holiday and enjoying family and time with friends. And so I just want to talk about the best cities for digital nomads, and also want to talk about the chances of a rate cut going into the third and fourth quarter in terms of interest rates and how that's going to affect the U.S. economy. So, as you know, one of the things that we all want to have is more time and freedom and flexibility in terms of our working options, in terms of how we make a living for ourselves. And so, according to this report by CNBC Make It series, they say New York and Los Angeles didn't make the cut for the 10 digital nomad cities where you're a remote worker, kind of things like that. That's what they're kind of hinting at. So the worst cities are, obviously, let's get that out the way, are in mainly California and Florida. With the people exiting California, with the people coming to Florida, the mass population growth of Florida has created problems, I'm assuming, with some of the remote workers there. The best cities for people who travel freely while working remotely are clustered in the Midwest and South. And so a lot of people have been moving into the Midwest and South. Maybe you're considering, getting a small rancher farmstead, a homestead, or a prepper. As a prepper or any kind of thing like that, most people are telling me they're moving into the Midwest and South, states like Kentucky or Alabama or Georgia, North Carolina, states like that, or Missouri, states like that people have been moving to. Less populated, but populated enough where you still have the advantages of some city amenities. So Columbus, Ohio was named the top city for digital nomads in the United States, while Fort Lauderdale ranked last. So you can see here Columbus, Portland, Kansas City, Houston, St. Louis, Chicago came in number 6. That was a surprise. Cincinnati, San Antonio, Detroit, and Denver. Now remember, this is based on just one list according to a number of factors that they used to determine this. My cities would be different on this list. Some of the ones I agree with, some of the ones I don't agree with. But the main thing is that digital nomads, the chance to remote work is growing. And even President Biden said by the year 2030, he hopes to have high-speed internet for every American in this country. And I believe that's going to become a reality, along with some other technological advances as we approach that date, let alone by 2025. But the thing is that we all need freedom and flexibility. And so if you can, and I tell young people this all the time, those who are going to college or in college or before college, remote work, things of that nature, that will be the best option for you and your family, because you can move around to different things like that you can do. So analysts say nomads should consider Kansas City, Cincinnati, St. Louis. Wi-Fi, affordable cost of living is going to become another concern. You don't have to, save gas, transportation, you save bus, subway fare, you save all of that but not having to commute, as you know, and all this kind of stress that comes with that. Speedy Wi-Fi and ample entertainment options. So, New York and Los Angeles have a high cost of living, so they obviously didn't make the list. And, when you have more and more population, the Wi-Fi obviously the signal tends to degrade somewhat. So it's not exactly fast Wi-Fi, but you do have hotspots, obviously, in these big cities, New York, Los Angeles, but they just don't come in as high enough. They came in at 24 and 31. The remote job market, the article does note the remote job market is shrinking in some cities, but flourishing in others. But the bottom line is that DC is the best place to find a remote job in the United States, followed by San Francisco and Chicago. And these remote jobs are not going away anytime soon. I think it was going to increase as companies cut costs, and save costs with leases and corporate leases and all those things of that nature. So the next article says in MarketWatch.com, this economist says that he, quote, can't rule out a Fed interest rate cut by the year end. Here's why. So now the Fed dot plot shows 2 further rate increases in 2023. If that does happen, we've already had a summer of surprises with the student loan verdict that everybody's talking about, that the Supreme Court ruled, the High Court ruled that we're not going to be responsible, we're not going to wipe out all this debt, $400 billion student loan debt, we're not just going to forgive it all and all that kind of stuff. But the bottom line is that more rate cuts are coming. I disagree with this article. I think they're going to stick to the plan. The U.S. central bankers have penciled in 2 more rate hikes this year, and they plan on doing that this year as we get into July and the later part of the year in August and September. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think a rate hike is coming? Do you think that remote work is here to stay? Do you prefer remote work, whatever your career is? A profession? Do you prefer remote work, or do you prefer coming to the office, or a hybrid combination that Google and Apple and other big technology companies in the Silicon Valley have been doing recently, kind of having 2 days in the office and the rest at home, or at an alternate workstation, if you want to call it that. Let me know what you think about that. In the meantime, the stocks are going to be rallied. It rallied Friday to close out the first half of the year. We're going in the second half of the year. It closed out up almost a percentage point, both from the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. And this rally, quote unquote, looks to continue as people and investors have already figured out that things are starting to stabilize, and prices, especially gas prices, are stabilizing. The oil is coming down a barrel instead of going up a barrel. But we'll see if that holds as we head into the second part of the year, and we'll let you know more about that later. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you very soon.